Hello! This is Literal Equations Applications. It's really kind of the day 2. So if you need more help with literal equations, please watch the video from yesterday first. Then come back to this one. Now, the reason we care about literal equations is because they allow us to manipulate formulas. The values that we can plug in to figure out various quantities. Once we have manipulated the formula the way that we would like to, we can plug in numbers for variables. Oh, I forgot an S. This allows us to find various quantities within a formula. So we have a couple of examples down here. Really quick, I just want you to notice that the problems go in pairs. You'll use your answer from the first part to answer the second part, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and try number 1 here. We have the formula for the circumference of a circle led by C is equal to 2 pi r. Now keep in mind, pi is a specific number used to help us find the circumference and area of circles. It's about 3.14. 159 goes on forever. So it's not actually a variable, but it kind of looks like one, and we can treat it like one as well. We need to solve for r. Now, if you'll recall, the big idea from literal equations is that all of the rules we already know, still apply. All of the rules we already know still apply. So in this particular case, we have C is equal to 2 pi r. Our goal is to get the r all by itself. So what is the relationship between 2 pi and r? Well, since nothing else is specified, it's multiplication. How do we undo multiplication? What is the opposite of multiplication? Division. So if we divide one side by something, we have to divide the other side by it as well. So we want to get the r all by itself, so we can go ahead and divide by 2 and divide by pi. We can do that at the same step. That's okay too. If we divide that side by 2 pi, that means we have to divide this side by 2 pi. That will give us C over 2 pi is equal to r. We have met our goal of getting the r all by itself. So now from here, we need to figure out what the radius of a circle is, which that's what r stands for, radius. If the circumference is this number, and we use 3.14 for pi. So let's go ahead and plug in some values. We're going to use our answer from the last question. C over 2 pi is equal to r. Now, instead of C, we're going to replace it with our number right here, 62.80. Over 2, that one doesn't change. And then we're going to use 3.14 for pi, because that's what we're told to use. Now really quickly, keep in mind the relationship between 2 and pi is multiplication. So let's go ahead and do that multiplication. So that's going to become 62.80 over 6.28. If we do that that division, we should end up with 10. So the answer to this question is r is equal to 10. It doesn't specify a unit, so you don't have to worry about it in this particular case. All right, we'll go ahead and try our next set. The formula for distance is d is equal to rt, or rate multiplied by time. So in this case, r stands for rate, and t stands for time. D stands for distance. We would like to solve for t, which means we need to take our equation and get t all by itself. In this particular case, what is keeping the t from being by itself? It's the r, so we go ahead and divide by r, giving us t is equal to d divided by r. Let's go ahead and use our answer from the previous question to answer the next one. How long would it take, so long, that means time, would it take to travel 540 miles, miles, that's a distance, if the rate is 60 miles per hour? So notice we have our rate right here. So let's go ahead and just plug in. So we're going to have 540 miles over r, which in this case is going to be 60. You'll notice that's very similar to t is equal to d over r. I just plugged in 540 for d and 60 for r. We go ahead and do that math, and we find out that the answer is 9. Now, in this particular case, we do have a unit for time. What is our unit for time? Hours. So our answer is really going to be t is equal to 9 hours. The next problem wants us to do something very similar. It wants us to solve the formula for r. So let's go ahead and just rewrite it. D is equal to r times t. This time, instead of getting the t by itself, we want to get the r by itself. So let's go ahead and divide each side by t, giving us r is equal to d over t. All right. How fast must you go if you want to travel 26 miles in 2 hours? So this is implying a marathon. I think we're going to be on foot as opposed to in a car. So we have a distance, and we have a time, and we're looking for fast. That means r. So we need to figure out how fast we'd have to go if we want to travel that amount of space in that amount of time. So in this case, that's going to be d over t, which is the same thing as for d, we're going to go ahead and put in 26. And for our time, we're going to go ahead and put in 2. So that's going to be 13. 13. And now, once again, we have to put a unit. We have miles and we have hours, so that's going to be miles per hour. As always, feel free to email if you have additional questions.